When the narcissist can't muddy the waters. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, muddy the waters. What does this mean? Let's picture a brook or a stream or even a little river. Well, with the water that's coming down from the mountains is flowing to the ocean, first of all, and that water is usually crystal clear. Now, when the narcissist rears their ugly head, what do they want to do? They want to get to the underbelly of that stream or that brook or that river. They want to stir it up. They want to make the waters muddy. They want to make them murky. They don't want to make them clear or pristine. They want to disrupt the energy of the water. Now, I hope you follow that very simple and succinct illustration of what muddying waters is. This is how these people live. They live in obscurity. They live in muddying other people's lives up. They live in misdirection. They live on misinformation and misrepresentation. The person you're considering certainly was wearing a mask. They definitely are wearing one right now, no matter where they are, who they're with, or what they're doing, because this person cannot be authentic or genuine. They don't have one bone of accountability in their body. They don't have one bone of honesty or transparency. What they have is a life, an existence, if you will, riddled with anxiety, riddled with destroying other people, riddled with trying to climb to the top of the ladder of abuse, and littered with acting like they are somebody, of course, who they are not. The person you're considering is a shapeshifter. Now, what that means in layman's terms, it means that that person or that dark energy will continue to try to infiltrate you and your life until you get the wisdom, which means you finally go no contact and block that person. But it isn't exclusive to the person you're considering. Remember, I said shapeshifter, which means these people, they can approach you in different bodies. They can approach you in different areas of the world. They can come at you in different ethnicities, different languages. They can be tall, short, chubby, in great shape, intellectual. They can be not the smartest, sharpest knife in the drawer, or anything in between. But what they all possess is one thing. It's the ability to capture people. It's the ability to trap people. It's the ability to lure people into that dark space, into the trauma bond, into the devaluation stage, into the narcissistic fog. And when you are living your life, as I illustrated earlier, with the waters flowing purposely and crystal clean and pristine, and everything's going well in your life, and then somebody disrupts your life and they muddy up the waters, i.e., yes, the person you're considering, that wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't an accident. That was a person trying to shift the flow of nature going from where it was going into where they wanted to direct it. And they wanted to muddy those waters as much as they could and as often as they could, so you could never get your bearings. When you were in the relationship, there are expressions I will use here. One, you were walking around on eggshells, which means you were not being treated properly. You were being disrespected. You had to hold your breath. You couldn't say things because if you said things, you'd be punished. And if you didn't, you'd be punished. So you learn to become subservient to that person. Number two, you lose your identity when you're with these people. You become a shell of yourself. You become the indentured servant, the walking apology, the walking billboard, the ATM, the cook, the cleaner, more and more and more. Third thing, and the most important for this video, is the waters of your life were completely muddied, intentionally, deliberately, and on purpose. Because when that person you're considering, when they encountered you, they thought to themselves a few really quick things, and this is a fact, what I'm going to tell you. They said, how does that person have all those things? I should have those. How does that person always have the ability to be loving, kind, stable, healthy, committed, devoted? They pay attention, they care. How do they do that? I can't do any of those things. And number three, they realized, I'm talking about the toxic person you're thinking of, they realized that you were not in a relationship, or if you were in one, that they could take that relationship, destroy it or break it, or have you doubt that was serving you, and they could insert themselves. You see, this is what these people want to do. Remember, I shared with you before in the past, multiple videos. These people, they're looking for people who provide utility for them, who provide a battery for them, who provide direction for them, who provide supply for them. You, in their eyes, were nothing but a battery, and you had a full charge when you first met them, but by the time they discarded you, because that's probably what happened, your charge was probably less than 5%, and they deemed that not worth investing any more time into, because they had already found a new battery. a new person or recycled another person whose battery was recharged, and they threw that person in the mix for a period of time, which was the length of that relationship. No good deed goes unpunished when you're with these people, and your life will continue to go sideways over and over and over again until you finally cut the ties with these people. Now, you may say that last thing's a little rough pill to swallow, Andrew. Why would you say that? Well, it's true. There are 4 ties that must be cut: the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie from the narcissist. When you cut those, and it won't be easy, but you will do it, and I did it. If I did it, you can do it. You need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. When you do those things, what you realize is, yeah, what Andrew's saying is true. My clarity is returning. My energy is returning. My health is returning. My finances are improving. I am understanding how humanity works, not just narcissism and empathy, but everything in between. My mindset is not where it once was. I now see things the way they really are, not the way that person wanted me to see them. And I'm no longer being peppered with abuse. That's what happens when you cut the 4 ties. But to get to have the ability to cut the 4 ties, you're going to have to take that first step. What is that first step? The first step is understanding. It's recognition. It's letting go of the last breadcrumb of hope. It's realizing that that person you're considering, they did make your waters muddier. They murked up made the waters murkier, if that's a word. And they try to disrupt the flow of you and what you were doing. Think about this. Think about all the hobbies you participated in before you were in the relationship with this person. Maybe you weren't such a physical person. Maybe you like crossword puzzles or doing Sudoku or doing whodunits, things like that. Okay, well, that's great. When you're with this person, were you doing those, participating in those hobbies? No, you weren't. You were doing anything but that. You were doing what they wanted you to do, when they wanted you to do it, and how they wanted you to do it. And if you didn't do it, you would be punished. If you did it, you'd still be punished. That's why there is no way anybody, and I mean not one human being on the planet, can stay in a narcissistic relationship and get out unscathed. It has never happened in the history of humanity. It won't happen with you. And it's not going to happen with anybody in the future, because there are 2 avenues, 2 people, if you will, in this relationship. One is the person trying to muddy the waters, the toxic narcissist. Notice what I share in videos for almost 5 years. The narcissist exists in that low vibrational quagmire state. Well, they had to stick their paws or claws or fangs into the water that you were a part of, and they had to try to murk or muddy those up. See, low vibrational darkness. You're the light. The other person is you, the empath, the kind, loving, stable, healthy person, just like myself. We don't muddy anyone's waters. What we want to do is we want to help people out. We want to be committed. We want to keep our word. We want to be honorable. We want to hold our value, our integrity, and we want to maintain our purpose. Now, when these 2 people encounter each other, mainly the person who was the empath, which was you, did not have the wisdom on narcissism. You were a sitting duck. You were vulnerable. You were naive. You were an open book. You were wearing your heart on your sleeve. You were uneducated, uninformed, and you were a clean slate for the person you're considering. That person took advantage of you. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew which buttons to press, when to pull back, when to press more, and they did everything they possibly could to place you in what is known as the trauma bond. The trauma bond is a place where you don't want to be. You don't want to step foot in that place ever again. And yes, it does exist. If any of you have never been in the trauma bond, you should count your lucky stars, because it is a real thing, and you don't want to be anywhere near that, because when you're there, you're helpless. And what you're doing is you're literally brainwashed, and you're giving all of your energy and resources over to a person who's controlling you. But they're not just controlling you. They are trying to destroy your life from the inside out, and they're doing it on purpose. And that's why the waters of your life got muddied by the narcissist, because they weren't just stirring up your waters, they were stirring up other people's. Think about you for a quick minute when you're in the relationship, and think about all the healthy, loving, stable relationships you had when you were with the narcissist. I am referring to your immediate family members, maybe your colleagues, coworkers, neighbors, friends, whomever. Well, these relationships got tainted also. These relationships got muddied also. A lot of those relationships were not only fractured, but they were broken. And not only because of the smear campaign, and also because of what the narcissist was saying behind your back, but because you didn't have time to spend with them, and they knew that. The less time you spent with your friends, the more time you spent with the narcissist. The more time you spent with the narcissist, the less time you had to spend with your friends. The more your friends were questioning you, and maybe they said it to you, maybe they didn't, but they're like, wait, we used to go play pickleball 3 nights a week, and we used to watch the game every Monday night, and we used to go to the Friday afternoon happy hour lunch at 4 o'clock after we all got out of work, but we don't do any of that any longer. What's going on with you? Well, what happened with you is you had that invisible leash around you. You are now being led around by that invisible leash. That's why you were the unpaid helper and the walking apology, and that's why you were subservient to the narcissist, because they had muddied your waters, but yet they carved out a new path where your water would be going. They didn't want your water to flow into the ocean, which is where every body of water eventually ends up, and you may not think they do, but they do. What they were trying to do is direct your water or your energy into them, into that low, low, low vibrational state, so you would fuel them for a period of time. And truth be told, they did it successfully until when? That's right, until they couldn't do it any longer, which is when the mask slipped, or they had a different source of supply, or you called them out, or you put up a boundary, or whatever happened. But the end of that relationship took place. And if it didn't take place, it was going to in the future. You must remember, each and every one of these relationships, they all have an expiration date. They all lead to destructionsville. These relationships will never improve your life. They will only muddy your water, or muddy your life more and more and more. And now fast forward, say you've been out of the relationship for 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years. Has your life improved? I'm sure it has. Are you still thinking about the narcissist? Absolutely not. Are you coming back and watching videos? Yeah, you are. Why? You may say, well, Andrew, why am I watching videos if I'm healed? Well, because you're keeping your cup full. But it's not only that. This is a superpower you've acquired. And you, because you're one of the beautiful ones on the planet, meaning kind, loving, healthy, empathetic, stable, and you were trapped in the narcissistic relationship, and you made it out and you healed and healed properly, you are paying it back. That's why you're here in the community. You're getting your cup full, you're keeping the cup topped up, but you're also dropping comments, which is what you should be doing if you have the energy and if it's safe for you to do it, which means no flying monkeys know that you're posting, unless you just don't care. Any way you look at it, you're coming back to help those people out who need help. That's exactly why I create videos each and every day, because at one point I was the new supply. At one point I didn't know I needed help. At one point I had no idea what narcissism was. At one point I had no idea that the waters were muddied in my life for a period of time for a direct purpose. One purpose, and that was it. Truth be told, probably 3 purposes, but all those purposes were achieved at the hands of the narcissist, every single one of them. Now, did I know that when I met the narcissist? No. If I did, what would I have done? I would have run for the hills. I would have said, lose my number. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have or don't have. I don't care what your circumstances are. Good luck to you. God bless you. Just stay away from me. But as we all know, that's not what happened. What happened was the person slithered into your life. They infiltrated your life. They muddied your waters, which is the direction of your life, your money, your time, your energy, your purpose, your empathy, your belief in yourself, your belief in humanity, and more. And then they began to slowly steer you wherever they wanted to steer you. And then once they believed that they took as much from you as they possibly could get, or if they believed that there was a bigger fish out there that they're trying to harness, well, then they would discard you. Any way you look at it, these relationships are not good. Any way you look at it, they all deteriorate. Any way you look at it, the one, and I mean the one common denominator, it's the narcissist. It's not you. I can almost assure you, of all the relationships you've been in your life, the toxic relationships you can either count with one finger or probably on one hand. I doubt that you've had more than that, but maybe you have. Any way you look at it, you're here and you're understanding now that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And there's no room in your life now or in the future for toxicity. And now you understand post-relationship, as I began to share with you, your waters aren't muddied any longer. They're crystal clear. The waters of your life now are pristine, and they are leading not only to, but from, because it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship between the mountaintop of indifference and the ocean of abundance, not the ocean of abuse, the ocean of abundance. So when the rain falls from above, and it falls every single day on the planet, it falls and it hits the mountaintops first, because they're the highest elevation. And that's where you are standing, or you are about to be. At the mountaintop, the pinnacle of difference. Does it rain up there? Of course it does. Does it rain and it's all not good weather? No. It rains and it gets better and better up there. The abundance continues to flow, but that rain has to go somewhere. The water has to go somewhere, and it flows down to the ocean of abundance. And that also is connected to you. You see, there is a perfect symbiotic relationship now between you and your energy now that the narcissist has been kicked to the curb. Everything's light, everything's pure. Everything is drama-free. Nothing's being muddied. There is no triangulation. There is no blaming. There's no rage fits. There's no financial abuse. There's no questioning. There's no smear campaign. There's no projection. There's no gaslighting. There is no being given the silent treatment for a month at a time. There's no wondering where this person is or anybody, who they are or what they're doing. Those things have all gone by the wayside. And you too will figure this out if you haven't already, which is why I suggest in so many videos, and I'll do it again before I close this video, once you identify that someone that you are or were in a relationship with is toxic, maybe even a narcissist, you need to cut the cord on them as soon as you possibly can. They will not change. They're not going to miraculously wake up and be a good person. They will continue to try to feed, F-E-E-D, off of you, or feast off of you. And above all, they will try to do what? Say it with me, come on. That's right. They're going to try to muddy the waters of you, your purpose, you, your health, you, your relationship, you, your time, you, your money, you, your energy, you, your sleep, you, and anything that matters to you. That's why you need to go no contact with this person or these people. If not now, when? So share this video, share it with anyone who could use it, play it a few times, and understand something. You are stronger than you know, and I believe in you way more than you will ever know. You need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you, and no longer will the waters of your life be muddied by the narcissist or any toxic person or anybody. You are an amazing human being, and you are not alone. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And realize a few things. 1, yeah, the narcissist did muddy your waters. 2, they did it intentionally. 3, they thought those waters would stay muddied forever. But you know what? You straightened out the waters. You redirected the toxic, negative energy, i.e. the narcissist, back to the underworld. And you now are free-flowing, just like I'm talking. You're free-flowing with the high vibrational energy running through you, all the way from that mountaintop of indifference all the way down to the ocean of abundance. That is a good thing. Remember, you paid a huge, and I mean huge, tuition price to acquire the wisdom. With that new wisdom you've acquired comes great responsibility. And this is what you must understand for the rest of your life. You see things the way they are. You don't see things the way they're being presented to you. You understand now that not everybody is who they appear to be on the planet, and that not everybody has your best interest at heart. And also for this video, that nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever again muddy the waters of your life, because that happened once, and once is one too many times. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. I hope you liked the video. I really loved it. I hope you liked it. Bye.